Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be doing a Microsoft Flight Sim flight in combination with OnAir Company. We are doing a delivery mission. So before we kick off with today's video, please, if you like the video, please hit the like button. And if you want to see more content from the channel, please subscribe. And don't forget to hit the bell notification icon so you get notified when we post new content. So today we are going to be doing a flight with Microsoft Flight Simulator. We are doing a companion flight with the OnAir Company mission. We are doing a flight from Jyväskylä in Finland to London Heathrow. We are flying a Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner, and we will be hauling 198,000 pounds of cargo. So let's get into the flight, and we will have a look around and get things rolling. So first things first, we need to get ourselves tracking in OnAir Company, and that will get us all prepped and ready for takeoff. We're taking off today with 35% fuel. That's 11,000 pounds of fuel, and we will be taking off from runway 30 and then we'll be landing at runway 9L in Heathrow. So we're all set on the runway, and we're going to get our takeoff. I'm going to basically roll the runway and try and get to takeoff speed of about 180 knots. When I did a flight from here before, I had to use almost all the runway to get to the designated takeoff speed. Very close to the end of the runway now. And we are gently pulling off the ground. Gear up. Going to get ourselves to 35,000 feet. But before we start making our turn, I want to get to about 2,000 feet from the ground. Do need a bit more altitude. Watching that altitude. And I think we might be just about right. I'm going to start making a turn. Kill the flaps and tweak the try and set the altitude for the autopilot. Get that set whilst we're turning. Two hands. We will be sort of flying towards our destination at about 230 degrees. We're climbing up to 35,000 feet, which will be our cruising altitude, and we will be cruising at 280 knots. We are are doing quite nicely. I will be running time acceleration, so I'm going to actually kick that off now. That way we don't have to sit through the entire flight, and it can go a little bit quicker. And we are climbing away after our left turn from takeoff. We shall start climbing, and we are good. We have FS flight control running, which has flight data on for our flight. We also have the OnAir Company track going, so we can see where we are on our flight. We also have a little bit of extra info on the top there that you can see. We should have an ETA, which will sort of start appearing when we hit about 10,000 feet, but that will change based on our ultimate cruising altitude, so we can get up to the best speed for our true airspeed. We will be taking we're carrying 35% fuel. That's more than enough for this flight. We are essentially not completely full. We're carrying 198,000 pounds of cargo. Our flight today will take us over Finland, over the Gulf of Bithynia. We'll also then fly over Sweden, over Denmark, and then over the North Sea down towards eastern United Kingdom. We'll come down over sort of the Norfolk area of the UK, and then down over towards London. We are coming in from west to east, so we will be coming into runway 9L, and so we're coming in from west to east. So we will be making our approach from essentially west of Heathrow. As we climb up, we're approaching 20,000 feet, and there we go. We will be cruising along nicely. Our vertical airspeed is just about 1,400 feet per minute. Got a heading of 234 degrees, which is good. Our ground speed is 376 knots, and our airspeed is 279. So we are progressing nicely. We are running pretty decent time. We're not quite at 30,000 feet, but we should be there shortly. Once we hit 35,000 feet, I'm going to shut up and let the flight progress until we get probably about halfway, and just jump in with the current ETA at that point, and go from there. The weather is, we're on AI weather, and it seems to be good at the moment, so we don't have any trouble there. It's nice clear skies. Just past 30,000 feet, we shall shortly be at 35,000 feet. Going quite nicely here. We are still using essentially max power on the climb, but we're good so far. It's backing off the power now. We are set for our cruising altitude of 35,000 feet. So with that, we're now at our cruising altitude. We are doing okay. We're crossing the Gulf of Bethina. We're heading towards Sweden. So we'll check back in a little while. Okay, we are close to a little over halfway from our destination. We are just crossing the western edge of Denmark over the coast and then entering the North Sea. Our ETA is probably about 15 minutes or so until we'll probably start making our descent. Our descent will be starting around about 100 nautical miles, and we will descend down towards 50 nautical miles, and then we'll start to make a turn for our approach, so we can get on track to land at London Heathrow. So I will be back closer to 100 nautical miles. Okay, we are approaching the coast of the United Kingdom. As you can see, we are approaching the east coast, sort of Norfolk way, and we are 131 nautical miles away from our destination. We are at 35,000 feet. We are cruising at 280 knots airspeed and a ground speed of 464 knots. We have used barely any fuel. We've used about 8% of our fuel. So it was about £3,000 or so of fuel. So we're cruising at 35,000 feet and making good time. We shall be starting our descent very shortly. Yeah, we have a bit of AI traffic around, I think, as we start our crossing of the United Kingdom airspace and we start our descent. We won't be descending too quickly at the moment. We will be heading down, I say, towards 35,000, well, from 35,000 feet down to about 17,500, hopefully before we get to the 50 nautical mile mark. Once we hit that 50 nautical mile mark, we shall start our turns to get into approach at Heathrow. What I might try today is an ILS approach for Heathrow, and we'll have the ILS data on the FS flight control map. You should be able to see it. I do have that turned on. I have my own ILS data on a separate screen, so I'll be using that for my flight. So there is a slight difference. And then hopefully we shall continue to make good time. We're maintaining a nice speed of 270 on the descent. We're not going to say too quickly on our descent. We should shortly be crossing 30,000 feet. And we are crossing the 80-mile marker very shortly. So we are coming up on Thetford, and we will be sort of crossing between Thetford and Bury St Edmunds in the UK. Have a number of airfields that we are thinking will be sort of passing RAF Lakenheath very soon, and that'll be coming by us. We've also Honington and also Maidenhall Airbase. We'll be passing those guys on our descent. We're shortly coming up on Bury St Edmunds now. We'll be passing between Bury St Edmunds and Newmarket. Our essentially alternate airport is Stansted. We won't be landing at Stansted, however, because there's no bad weather or anything that is preventing us from landing at Heathrow. And even then, we'd try and crash. Hey. Descent is going nicely. We're at 27,000 feet shortly, and we're at 65 nautical miles. Airspeed is around 256 knots, and our ground speed is 376 knots. Our ETA is 1433 Zulu, which is on track. It's about 10 minutes away. We are 58 nautical miles, and we are just coming up to 25,000 feet. When we hit 50 nautical miles, I'm going to start making my turns to begin my ILS approach for Heathrow, and we are landing at runway 9L. Nine left. We do have AI traffic on, so we might see some aircraft as we're approaching Heathrow. Starting my turn, and we're sort of descending a little bit more swiftly now. We are 45 nautical miles. Let's see Heathrow off in there in the distance. And I think we are passing, you see down there on the left, I think that's Stansted. So we are doing quite nicely. We are heading towards Stevenage as part of our prep to get on track for London Heathrow. We are 40 nautical miles away now. Speed is 270 knots, which is not too bad. We're not creeping up too fast. We're doing okay. Looking pretty clean so far. We should be crossing 18,000 feet shortly. Gradual descent, nothing too nasty. And we are 30 nautical miles off now. We shall be crossing over Hemel Hempstead shortly. We are crossing over Stevenage as we speak. Outskirts of London, basically. So we'll be coming in from the west to land on runway 9 left. So not fly over central London. So we will not actually fly over my house. We're just passing Luton Airport, which I think is on the right at the bottom of the screen. That is Luton, or London Luton as they like to call themselves. We're starting to see Heathrow there off in the distance. You can actually make out the runways. So we're coming in from the west, so we've kind of got to make quite a sort of a hardcore turn for these guys. We should be sort of approaching our point very soon for our approach, so we can turn in. About probably about I'd say about 10 to 20 nautical miles off now. We've got a point where we can turn in towards the airfield, and at that point I'll actually go for ATC for landing permission.
Contact North Hold approach on 126.45.
126.45.
We do have quite a bit of fuel on board, so if we have to abort a landing, we can theoretically do so. But I don't plan on aborting the landing.
RM 666.123 North Hold approach. Continue as planned. Altimeter 29.902.
Okay, we've passed over Hemel Hempstead and we are flying down towards High Wycombe. And when we sort of cross that sort of area, I think that's probably about the point at which we'll make our turn. Maybe a little bit after. So Heathrow is now behind us, or pretty much behind us. Well, definitely off to the left.
RM 666.123 contact. Benson approach on 136.45.
We are creeping up our speed at the moment. We're at about 300 knots. We will shortly be hitting 8,000 feet. It's not terrible, but this turn's probably going to be a little bit rough. So we're passing a few local airfields now, smaller airfields with farm strips and so on. See down there someone called Booker and looks at a farm airstrip. And they are coming up. We will be making our turns after looks at a farm airstrip has passed. So I've got our approach entry. We'll be turning down so to the left, and you'll probably see Reading off in the distance as we come back towards Heathrow. We'll be about 20 nautical miles out from Heathrow when we start making this turn. Have to be careful. We are actually we have a payload that's fragile. I completely forgot about this. So we do actually have to be careful in G-forces, and unfortunately that was a big G-force hit as we're making this turn. You can see Heathrow off in the distance there. Yeah, I'm looking for the ILS entry marker now. We're at 3,100 feet. After that turn. We can see a little bit of traffic there off in the distance. We are getting our altitude up a little bit because we are a little bit low. Right, I'm now going to ask for some permission to land. We are coming up nicely.
Heathrow approach RM 6661123, 3,500 feet. RM 6661123 Heathrow approach, continue as planned. Altimeter 29.902.
Fortunately, trying to find Heathrow in the list is proving there we go. We're entering the ILS approach now. Gear is down. We haven't asked for permission yet, but we are on approach.
Make straight and runway 9 left. Altimeter 29.902 and 272 at tree.
We do have traffic crossing us.
Make straight in runway 9 left RM 6661123.
Should be fine. Oh, a little low at the moment, I think. Well, I think we'll be okay. Really don't know what that AI traffic is doing right there. Ooh, we are way too slow. We're also a little bit too low. Oh, I don't like this. We are too slow. I'm not liking this one bit. feel like we're too high now.
Wind 272 at tree.
Just feel like we're too high.
Runway 9 left RM. 666 1123.
Right at the top of them. Yeah, we are too high. I'm calling this off. We are too high. I'm going to retry. We were so high there.
Speedbird 260 exit runway when able.
Heathrow Tower RM. 666 1123. Cancel landing intention.
That was too high. Very high.
666 112 your cancellation is received.
Heathrow Tower RM. 666
Let's try again.
It's 4 miles northwest with Indian to land.
Speedbird 260 exit runway when able. RM 666 112 Heathrow Tower. Make straight and runway 9 left. Altimeter 29 decimal 9 2 and 272 at tree.
Fly straight in runway 9 left RM. 666 1123.
Actually, I told it to cancel landing intentions and they've not cancelled them. Which is annoying. That is annoying. So, yeah, sorry, I had to cancel that landing. We were way too high. Way too high. We would not have basically landed. We'd have probably landed right in the middle of the runway on our backs. So I am trying this again. Coming around for another attempt. Just gonna try that one. We're really low. We really should be higher than this, but as you can see, we're getting a nice tour of where are we? We're passing over Slough and Maidenhead, I think. Yeah, we'll be past. Well, that's Slough down there to the right, and Maidenhead is upcoming.
Going to 121.855 Speedbird 260.
So we'll basically be making another turn shortly. Try this again. Trying this again. We were way too high. Our entry height into the paths was so very high. We weren't descending quickly enough. Started to climb and was fighting the trim and the flaps. That's fine. Don't want to actually crash, so passing over Maidenhead now, pretty low, 1900 feet. So Just passing White Waltham on the left there. Looks like a nice grass strip we could land at if we needed to. It's a pretty small airfield. If we land it from the right direction, actually, we'd be fine. We could theoretically land this plane on that field if we came at it from the right angle. We'd probably bury ourselves in the grass if there was a real plane, but in Flight Simulator we could easily land it on that grass. And we're going to start making a turn in a second. Guessing we are. They're still expecting us to land, so I'm glad I've got the fuel. Put the gear up on this. Maybe we'll get more speed. We're going to be doing the turn. I'm going to do the turn now, I think. Pretty much. It's pretty much a 180 turn that we'll be doing. Get some speed up. Doesn't want to get any quicker, even though we have full flaps. To be fair, that's probably making a big difference. This is the tricky bit. Really don't want to damage this cargo anymore, so kind of want the most distance I can have to do this turn so we don't actually overturn. So I think the more damage, the lower well, I think we lose money actually. Not normally do these high fragility loads when I'm flying myself. Kind of mistakenly picked this one up. Which is still yeah, we still have landing permission, so it did not cancel my landing intention, which is pretty much what I wanted to do. Faffing around with the ATC commands whilst I'm trying to sort this out, which is good. Hopefully we can get a bit of altitude in. Maybe a bit of speed, a bit of both. I want both, to be honest, at the moment. Okay, let's try this. We're going to try this without the ILS. The ILS glide data I've got is not right. It's too high. We'll try this, see if this works.
Heathrow Tower RM 6661123 is unfamiliar with the area.
Well, I am familiar with the area, but I'm wondering whether or not this is, because it seems a long way away. 10 o'clock. Well, I suppose that is right. 13 miles. That just doesn't look right. Okay, gear down again. Let's try this one. Let's see if we can manage to land this puppy at Heathrow. I'm not doing this a third time. This is one and done. I did say that before, didn't I? So this video has turned out to be longer than I'd originally hoped to. Partly because we've had an aborted landing. We're coming in too high to London Heathrow. It's fine. It happens sometimes. It's my fault. Came in too high. I was originally too low and I overcompensated. I was trying to maintain an ILS glide. Didn't happen so well. Trying out a new monitoring app on my on a tablet, which basically is what I was following there, and didn't work out so well. Hopefully we will do it this time. Okay, we're kind of high, but we should be descending a little bit. We're struggling to maintain altitude anyway, and speed. I know this plane wants to land. All of that. At least we haven't hit anything yet.
Cleared to land runway 9 or left RM 6661123.
Landing lights are on, gear is down. Not too slow.
Heathrow Tower, Virgin 11 at runway 9 right, ready for takeoff ISR to Boston.
And too high again.
Virgin 11 cleared for takeoff, runway 9 right.
But we should be okay now.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 9 right, Virgin 11.
I'm hoping we're okay. We're actually... If we crash, we crash. And I will call the video at that point. It'd be a fun ending. We are way too high. Why are we so high? So high. Come on. We're going to bounce, by the way. Oh, that was so close. We were super high there.
RM 666 112 to return next taxiway.
Okay, let's get off this runway. Oh, we're going way too quick. Where the hell is it taking us? Okay, welcome to Heathrow. That was a bit of a hairy landing.
RM 666 112 to exit runway when able.
1 to 9 left. I'm trying to see. We do the marking here. Okay, we got it. This is our turn.
Decimal 475.
That was a really rough landing. That was very rough.
Virgin 11.
We actually hit the deck pretty hard there.
RM 666 112 to contact ground on 121.905.
Not sure where we are going,
121.905.
where it's taking us, but we will taxi. I have this feeling we might have actually made the original first landing because we were just as high that time as we were on our first thing. I don't know why I ended up just getting too high. Just had to kind of force things down. I think I probably messed up my trim and my flaps. Basically, we were just getting too much lift. Right, I'm not sure where we are heading. Where it's got us going. I didn't pay attention to the instruction. We are overshooting that. Oh, that was close. This is the one part of Flight Simulator I do not like. is taxiing, because I'm really bad at it. As you can see, I overshot that corner. It also takes so long. On the last video I posted with the flight, I think the taxi was about 15 minutes of the video. So this video is long, I apologise for that. This will be well over an hour once edited down. But we had a failed landing. The flight was relatively uneventful until I screwed up the landing. And we had to turn around and retry. And even then, the second attempt was a little bit rough. We touched down pretty heavily. According to OnAir Company, we have damaged our cargo by about 4.5%. Because we basically get a couple of high G elements. On the takeoff, we did a little bit. And then on the first attempt at landing, we turned pretty heavily. And then on this last attempt at landing, we bounced. We're carrying unfortunately, we're carrying a fragile cargo. That fragile cargo didn't like the fact that we basically bounced. I'm trying to find where we're supposed to park. Oh, we should definitely... You know, if we'd landed on the other runway, which is just there, to our right, we would not have this parking spot. We'd probably have one on the other side. Will we be parking when we have a jetway? I think we will. Sorry, it's just so much easier parking like this. Not sure which terminal this is actually. I don't recognise the terminal building. Okay, there we go. So let's get some Quest Jetway connection.
Heathrow ground RM 66123. Could you please connect the jetway to the aircraft? RM 6661123.
What happened there?
The jetway is going to be connected.
Jetway is going to be connected, but it's not.
Heathrow ground
Jetway
RM
connection was
66123. Could you
cancelled for some reason. There we go. Jetway is being connected to the aircraft. For some reason, the jetway was not connected to the aircraft. Do I need to move forward a little bit? That is weird. Let's try that again. I don't want the ground power unit, I want the jetway connection. I hate it when the ATC traffic thing messes up like this. Jumps around whilst we're trying to do stuff. Okay, third attempt at trying to get the jetway connected. Hopefully, I've moved a bit closer, so hopefully it reaches. That's better. There we go, we have the jetway connected. So welcome to Heathrow. And welcome to Heathrow. That is our flight. Our flight time was a little bit over an hour and 27 minutes. We had a failed landing and we eventually landed in Heathrow after our flight from Finland. So thank you for sticking with me on this flight. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And if you liked the video, please hit the like button. But with that, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time.